Yes, Assalamu alaikum. My question is to Brother Husam. You said the monthly payment is two parts. One part is the acquisition, or the amount you pay towards the equity of the house. The other part, I think you named it utility.
The acquisition and the utilization.
Utilization, okay. The part for the utilization, is it a fixed amount or it is inflation adjusted? How does that work?
It's actually fixed. We determine it at the beginning. And from a dollar perspective, each month, it starts to reduce. So with the first payment, you're actually acquiring more. We're owning less, so your second payment is actually reduced. So it keeps reducing throughout the term of the agreement. And as you buy more, clearly, you're owning more, we're owning less, so naturally, that's why the reduction.
So the two amounts, your acquisitions grow and
utilization declines, absolutely, yes.
So at liquidation, at gain or loss, yes. Do you use the ratio that you started with or the ratio at the time of the liquidation? Because the acquisition for the owner, for me increasing, and the part that you have is decreasing, so the ratio decreases with time or changes.
Yes.
So when at liquidation with gain or loss, do you base this on the initial issue that we started with, or
yeah, the initial appraised value of the property, the purchase price, is always going to be where our percentage is calculated on. So if the value of the property at liquidation down the road appreciated, all the appreciating value in that property goes back to you. We don't gain a dime or a nickel or a penny from any of the appreciation, because with the shirakat al-milk, our purpose is not in venture. Our purpose is not to actually make profits from the appreciating value in real estate. All of that hard work of finding the property, finding the location where you want to buy, using a realtor and so on and so forth, all of that was done by you. And typically properties appreciate over time, so you should reap the full reward of the appreciating value.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. You mentioned the partnership LLC that, so for 70-30%, right? Do you also share if there's something happens to the property, flood damage or storm damage, or a door is broken? So do you also take the 70% of the expenses that is used to build that or fix that?
So in the event of, let's say, so the property is typically insured. So as I mentioned, in the event of a major disaster of some sort, and this happened actually in Houston. If you guys remember the hurricanes that hit Houston, we had a lot of clients who actually lost their homes, completely lost the homes, flooded to a point where it's not habitable any longer. We actually took losses on those homes. Because essentially the payouts that came from our from the insurance proceeds that came to cover the cost of the home, in some cases were lower. So in those events, yes, we do take the loss along with our customers.
And for any fixes?
Maintenance. So maintenance of the home. So if it's still habitable, if the house is habitable, any maintenance to the home belongs to, the responsibility belongs to the homeowner. Because maintenance is described, at least by our Shariah Supervisory Board, described maintenance as a way of maintaining the home in shape for gradual increase in equity over time. So if you maintain the home, regardless of what maintenance looks like, you get to reap the benefits of that maintenance. So maintenance belongs to the homeowner, not to guidance.
How about the property taxes?
Property?
Taxes?
Great question. Property taxes. This was also asked during the research and development phase. And the Sharia Supervisory Board asked it directly. What do property taxes pay for here in the States? Do we all know? Schools, public schools, fire department, police department, parks, roads, right? So naturally their response was, well, if all of those taxes go to pay for all of those services all benefit the occupant of the property, number one, and they benefit ultimately the appreciating value of the property. So property taxes must be borne by the full beneficiaries of it, which is the homeowner.
One question for Brother Amjad. So if a company doesn't have the 401k, I mean, we cannot have 401k listed, I mean, your fund is not listed in our 401k, how do I invest in it?
If it's not listed, you can go through what's called an open brokerage or self-directed option. And if you also don't have that option, we have sample letters that other Muslim employees have sent to their HR asking for to open up that option, which majority of the time is free for the company to do. And we don't, I mean, to approach it in the best way possible, we say we're looking for some more ethical and sustainable funds rather than saying we're looking for a Sharia compliant option. And a lot of the times, if you just get a couple of other employees and send it to HR, they'll open it. You don't even have to do that. Alhamdulillah, we live in a country that's very sensitive to helping minorities. So most of the times they'll do it anyways. But if you wanted to make a stronger case, you can have a few people send it. So I have brochures, cards, pens, so get some more information. I just want to answer a couple of the online questions. One was, what would you recommend for an 18-year-old new to investing? We have that quiz on our website, the fund selector. Please take it and then give one of us a call. You'll see our information also on the website. And the second one, I'll just answer this for you. Someone was asking if they can refinance if they're in a conventional mortgage. The answer is yes. Just to keep it simple, guidance will do refinances. Husam mentioned yesterday that last year was one of their highest years in doing that. So they'd be happy to help with that as well, inshallah.
I have one question for you and then the other gentleman. So the one for you is, would you recommend putting, because instead of the Roth IRA or any like 401k or something like that, would you recommend putting a fixed amount every month into the S&P 500 index fund or the retirement programs you mentioned before?
No, I would not recommend to a Muslim to put money into the S&P index fund because you'll be owning companies that do alcohol and other things that are haram. And alhamdulillah, you know, this is something that's true for both companies. With the growth of Islamic finance, there's no reason to do it anymore. You know, Islamic finance has gotten to a point where, alhamdulillah, our funds have done better than like an index fund. Most people want to go into index fund, low cost. But if you have a managed fund that does better than the low cost funds and you outdo it, even if the expense ratio is slightly higher, then the question is, why are you compromising your deen when you don't have to? So that was your first question. Was there two parts?
I mean, I have another one, but
oh, no, okay. And then the second thing, when I was saying both of us, the rates now, when you look for rates in the market with Islamic finance, they're on par, if not sometimes better with Islamic finance. That, again, just as a Muslim that's grown up here, that's seen the evolution, there's no compromise. So it doesn't make sense. You know, when I go to some social gatherings now, I still hear from people, oh, but you pay more for being Muslim. It's not true. It has not been true probably for about 10 years now. So when you hear these rumors, when I drill down on them, being in the industry as long as I have, I find out that they usually don't know where it came from or who said it, because I ask people like, please just compare when you're doing it and then come back to me with real numbers. And most of the times you'll realize that they're not. Alhamdulillah.
Okay, and this question's for you. So you mentioned before that you, I think you said like something about surviving the 2008 real estate market collapse. So it's like, it's no secret that right now the market's like at an all-time high in like the last like 20 years or so. It's been the highest. So how much longer do you think it'll be until it crashes? And do you recommend becoming a real estate agent in the next few months?
It's a great question. I should have brought my crystal ball. No, so the real estate market has always been cyclical, and the cycles can sometimes be extreme, and sometimes they're not too extreme. But if you look at real estate, we're talking real estate and housing values, go beyond the 6, 7, 8 year cycles. What you'll see is a natural progression that increases over time. So if you bought a house in the 1970s, there's no chance you've lost money. If you bought a house in the 1990s, there's no chance you lost money. So it all depends on what you're getting into real estate for. So if you're getting into real estate for speculation, for what they call flips, you better be more attuned to where the market is before you go sinking money into a property that is being rehabbed or needs rehab, and you expecting to sell it within the next 6 to 12 months. That's a little riskier, and I wouldn't recommend it to the faint-hearted. What we have today is an inventory problem in the U.S. housing industry. You know, there's a statistic that was eye-opening. Since the 1960s, the U.S. has produced about 6 million homes every decade in terms of production, new home constructions and such. Each decade, 70s, 80s, 90s. The last decade was unprecedented in that it broke that trend, and about a quarter of those were produced. Because of the 2007-2008 market crash, you had a lot of investors and builders be hesitant to build homes as they used to. They took a lot of losses, and so they didn't. And so the last decade, we didn't produce as many homes. But guess what we did produce? A large generation of millennials who wanted to buy homes. And that was a growing generation, but there weren't enough homes. So inventory has been a problem. It's starting to catch up. We won't be there in 2022. So there's still going to be high demand in 2022 with not enough supply. What does that mean? Home values are going to continue to go up. They may not spike up to the point of 2020 or 2021, but they're going to go up. Now, the second question is, should you get into real estate? Well, as a real estate agent, that's different than what we do. To be a real estate agent, you're going to have to figure out a way to make sure that you're able to survive financially for the first 3 to 6 months, because you have to build your pipeline. But if you're interested in working in Islamic home financing, we would love to talk to you, because we are hiring. We have, mashallah, now over 90 account executives, licensed account executives in 34 states. And our account executives, alhamdulillah, are becoming pillars in their community. They're financial experts in the housing industry, in their local markets. We have a wonderful training program. It's over a month long, and it continues on for your first 6 months, mentorship and such. And we pay for your education and licensing. So you can find out more in the back. We have plenty of information about that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I want to say to the crowd, by the way, if you are a guidance customer, we do have gifts for you back there. T-shirts, isn't that right? We got lots of them. And if you are thinking about becoming a guidance customer, we have also prizes for you there, sort of an advanced gift for you. Back there, our team has a lot of things to give out. We wanted to come with prizes and gifts. So let's go to the next question before. Oh, are we?
Yeah, so just tell them we'll go out.
Can we take your question in the hallway? Okay, I'm sorry if we didn't get to any of your questions, but we'll be out in the hallway and we'll be here for as long as it takes.